the Egyptians give Ra a nickname?
All right, let's see it.
Yeah, so right after the Exodus, you'd had this huge impression where Yahweh had shown all of the Egyptian gods to be powerless. And there's a myth that the Egyptians came up with called the destruction of mankind that comes in the dynasty right after the 18th dynasty.
This is not accurate. The earliest version of this myth, which is also known as the myth of the heavenly cow, was found written inside King Tut's tomb. And King Tut is part of the 18th dynasty and died decades before the end of the 18th dynasty.
And in that story, they give Ra, their chief god, a nickname. And you know what it is? Yahweh, which in Egyptian means I am I. It's the same as the Hebrew. In fact, there's a scholar, Dr. John Gwynne Griffiths from the University of Chicago, says that's the only possibility here, that they're referring to Yahweh.
This is entirely false, and this wildly misunderstands and misrepresents Griffith's comments, which come from this 1988 Journal of Egyptian Archaeology review of a specific German translation of the myth of the heavenly cow. And in the red box, I've highlighted the relevant comments from Griffith, which start with comments about the way the translation renders this phrase in passage 188, and it's rendered Dein Sohn bin ich, or I am your son. And Griffiths explains, this is explained by Fecht, the translator of this particular text, as an interpolated speech by the dead king as Shu, the son of Re. The context is rather unclear, and if one were tempted to render thy son is with me, the use of im-e in passage 183, iwi imi, goes against that, since the meaning I am I seems the only one possible. Here it is rendered ich bin der ich bin, with a startling invocation by Fecht of Exodus 3:14. The Hebrew is concerned with the meaning of the name Adonai. The Egyptian context, as Fecht shows, relates to the sun god's claim. He is what he has shown himself to be, the successful queller of men's mutiny, and so able to say in the following verse, I will not allow them to make a revolt. So Griffiths absolutely, indisputably is not saying this is the name Adonai, that this is connected with the Hebrew. Griffiths is commenting that this Egyptian sentence should be translated I am I, and then notes that it's rather startling that the translator of the passage into German is making the connection with Exodus 3:14. This is not a nickname. This is not related to the divine name Adonai. This is just a sentence in Egyptian that can be translated I am I, which is a claim that is being made by Ra within this myth. The only connection at all to Exodus 3:14 is with the fact that this sentence could be translated very similar to the Hebrew Echia Asher Echia in Exodus 3:14, which is another sentence stated by a deity and is not the divine name Adonai, Yod-He, Vav-He. It's actually spelled Aleph-He, Yod-He. So this is entirely misrepresenting the scholarship here. This is entirely false.
The Israelites, that whole Exodus and the plagues and everything else had seared such an impression into the Egyptians that when they're giving a nickname to their top dog, it's going to be Yahweh.
This creator is flagrantly misunderstanding and or misrepresenting both the primary and the secondary literature here. And the fit for this video? What up, party people?